We have come to the temple today to spend some time to listen to the beautiful teachings of the Buddha. So before we start today's session, today's talk or sermon, I would like you to sit comfortably and relax yourself and stay still. And put your palms together and recite Namo Tassa 3 times to observe the precept. Yeah, Namo Tassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Saranaгаmanang sampunnang. Pānātipātā veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyāmi. Adinnādāna veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyāmi. Kāmesu miccācārā veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyāmi. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyāmi. Surāmeraya majjapamā dattāna veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyāmi. Tisaranena saddhim pañcasīlaṃ dhammaṃ sādhukaṃ surakkhitaṃ kattvā appamādena sampādethabbhaṃ. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa. Dear meritorious children and Dhamma friends and all the well-wishers, I welcome you all warmly, happily to this Dhamma talk. And I can see today there are plenty of people here and students. Quite a number of people are here today. I'm so happy to see you all here. Your appearance, your arrival, and your presence give me some kind of enthusiasm or some kind of strength or some kind of motivation for me to talk to you. And I'm happy to see you because I can see people who come to the temple and spend their time listening to the talks, they really like the teachings of the Buddha, and they really want to learn the teachings of the Buddha, and they want to get something from the Buddha. That's why I think they come here and spend the time listening to the teachings of the Buddha. So continue to come and let's spend some time, because you know that even though sometimes we do some other secular things in the life, like studying, doing our jobs and all the other things, but those things may be useful for you to only very much in this life. But if you want to think about the life after this, if you understand the life after this life, so if you want to make your future existence much better and the fortunate one and the good one again in the future, so you have to learn the teachings of the Buddha, and you have to apply those teachings to your life, and you have to lead your life in accordance to the teachings of the Buddha. And that's how you can make use of this valuable human life, because not every time we get human births, right? We are not sure if we can get human rebirths or human life again after this life. So that's the uncertainty of our life. So therefore you have to make use of this wonderful life, this rare life, to learn the Buddha, teachings of the Buddha. And you had to spend more time learning, studying, listening to the Buddha's teaching, right? That's how you can make your life much better and useful one and productive one. So don't think that coming to this temple, spending time here right now is useless. Don't ever think in that way, because once you learn something from this talk, definitely those things may be useful for you um, uh, to make your life much better in the future, if you face any kind of issues or problems in the future. Okay, so having that in the mind, let us say talk about Buddha's teaching today. I purposely want to teach you very special discourses of the Buddha today. It is a very important one. The name of the teaching is called Kaka Sutta, discourses on a crow, right? The simile of a crow. It's an animal. Buddha has compared this animal, like crow, has some kind of qualities, bad qualities. So those qualities are explained in this teachings of the Buddha. It's called Kaka Sutta, discourses of the crow. Okay, so listen carefully, so you can learn a lot of interesting and beautiful teachings which Buddha taught in this discourse. So before I start the talk, children, one day I was reading a book. It is about 13 years old girl, a girl from England. And when she was young, she thought to herself, she wanted to be a perfect human being. She think that why if human being can be perfect, so she had that thoughts to be perfect human being. Okay, and then what do you think, children? Do you think that we should be perfect in human life? What do you think, children? Yeah, we have to be very perfect, right? Sometime, of course, we know that nobody is perfect in this world except enlightened ones and the Buddha. But for some certain extent of the life, we can be perfect, right? In your study, you can be perfect, and in your day-to-day life, you can be perfect. So this girl, she thought to herself, should human beings be perfect like that? Okay, then she looked for some kind of ways and answers to be perfect. And she used to go to the church in England, and she used to ask the people who she met the ways and techniques to be perfect. And she met aunties, uncles, and the teachers. So she asked, how can I be perfect? How can human beings be perfect? So she had such kind of questions. So all the people, all the elderly people and the wise people she met used to tell her that, yeah, you can be nice to your parents and you can be nice to animal, you can be nice to your friends. In that way, you can be a perfect person. That's what the answers of those people, right? So like children, if you are nice to your parents and if you are nice to your teachers, if you are very nice to your friends, if you are very nice to your animals, so in a way you can be a perfect human being. That's how the people told to this little girl, okay? And then, but later, when this girl grew up, when she became 18 years old, she saw the people who are nice, who were nice to those people, but they are not still perfect human beings, right? Because after she got from the got all these answers from those people, she practiced it, and also she saw the people who are nice to those people is still not perfect, were not still perfect. So she thought to herself again, is there any specific or is there any particular ways or particular ways to become perfect? So at that time, she was working. She was working in a library, and accidentally she happened to read a book. Accidentally, he happened to find a book. The book name is Mind Unshaken. Unshaken Mind or Mind Unshaken. That was the Buddhist book, and that was the book she was able to find in that library. So she started reading the book. So the book gives a lot of beautiful teachings of the Buddha, the basic teachings of the Buddha, like Four Noble Truths, teachings of Four Noble Truths, and the teachings of Noble Eightfold Path, and the teachings of three characteristics of existence. So these beautiful teachings are there in the book, and she started reading all those teachings. And she started liking this book. She started liking this book. Oh, this is really wonderful book. The title of this book was inspired to her. Read this book, okay? And then she read it all the way through to the middle of the book. And then she told me, I am a Buddhist. I became a Buddhist. So she told to her mother, Mom, I became a Buddhist by reading this book to the halfway of the book. So now I am a Buddhist. So then the mother told to her, okay, well, that's good. If you finish reading whole book, and could you please tell me at the end of the book, how do you find this book and what is all about this book? This mother told to this daughter, and after 6 months later, the mother also became a Buddhist, right? The mother also became Buddhist. So, what I want to tell is that this is how Western people and people from other countries, they find Buddhism as an important and as a interesting way of life. So Buddhism, it is just a way of life. It is not only a religion, but it is a way of life. It teaches you how to lead your life productively, meaningfully, righteously. It's in a way of life. So I am here today. So children, the Buddhism fails or shows the path to be a perfect human being, right? So the Buddha's teaching always teach to be perfect human being, right? To be a perfect enlightened being. So all the teachings of the Buddha give us that kind of particular path or particular ways to become a perfect human being in the world, right? So that's why many people during the times of the Buddha were able to become perfect human beings. Those who got enlightenment those who become extreme introvert, or once returner, non-returner. So all those attainments got after practicing the teachings of the Buddha, right? So that's why what I want to tell is that if you practice Buddhism, if you practice or if you apply the teachings of the Buddha to your life, definitely you can be a perfect human being. Understand? That is what I want to tell you from this story. This is how people apply the teachings of the Buddha for their life to become a perfect human being. Later on, this lady, this daughter, this girl became a nun, and she was one of the most respected nuns in the world. And I heard that she spent 20 years in a cave in Himalaya and practiced all those celibacy life of being a nun. So now she's still living, I think. She's well known and very good nun in Buddhism. So I'm here today to teach you some kind of beautiful teachings of the Buddha to become a perfect human being, to become a valuable person in the society. Okay, so all you need to is please listen carefully and attentively, and try to bring something from this Dhamma talk to your home, to your house, and put something in your mind and apply them into your life. So I'm going to recite Pali verses in order to let you understand this teaching is from the Buddha. This is not taught by me. These are not taught by me or narrated by me. These are taught by the Buddha. So once you listen to the Pali stanzas, definitely you may have understanding, or you may have some kind of faith, thinking that these are the true words of the Buddha, right? So listen carefully. It goes like this. Dasahi bhikkave asaddamme samannagato kako katame dasahi dansicha pagabbocha tintinocha mahaggasocha luddocha akarunikocha dubbalocha oravitacha muttatsaticha nechaikocha imeko bhikkave dasa saddammehi samannagato kako. So these are some kind of bad qualities of a crow. Have you seen a crow? How does crow look like? If you have seen, you should be able to tell me how crow looks like. Is it big? Yeah. So today we're going to learn about 10 qualities, 10 bad qualities of the crow. The crow has 10 bad qualities. Okay, the Buddha explained these 10 bad qualities of a crow. If a human being has these 10 types of bad qualities, that is not nice. If you have these kind of 10 qualities in you, you are like a living crow, right? So that's why that is very, very dangerous of having these 10 qualities in your life. We can say crow is an animal, so it is okay to have these 10 qualities in an animal, but we are much more superior than animals, much more higher than animals. So you shouldn't have these qualities in you. If you have these qualities, one of these qualities, then you can be a living crow. Okay, I don't want you to be a living crow. So Buddha compared these 10 types of qualities. If human being has these 10 types of bad qualities which crow has, so that kind of human being is not really worthy one, is not really wholesome one. That kind of human life like a living crow. Okay, so The crow, you may have seen, if you are from Sri Lanka, if you have gone to Sri Lanka, you might have seen crow, right? Crow is a bird. So it's something, is someone like magpie in Australia, or magpie or magpies. So the people pronounce it differently, right? So this particular types of bird has 10 types of bad qualities. Okay, so I'm going to tell you 5 qualities out of 10 today, because we don't have much time to tell all the 10 qualities, but I'm going to tell you 5 out of 10. Okay, so earlier I recited the Pali terms for those 10 bad qualities. Okay, so if we only think about these 10 bad qualities, but you know that every people or every animals, they have both good and bad. Just something like every coin has 2 sides, right? One side and another side. So human beings, there are some good human beings and bad human beings. So the cross has good qualities and also bad qualities, but less good qualities. Of very few good qualities crow has. One of them. You know that before I tell the bad qualities of the crow, I'm going to tell you only 2 good qualities of a crow. Okay? You know that when a crow finds some food, what does he do? If you have seen a crow, when a crow finds food, what does he do? Does he eat alone, or does he call all the other crows to come and share the meal? Yes. Once if a crow finds some food, the crow calls all the other crows to come and enjoy the food meal. How do they call? How the crows crow? How does it make sound? What is the sound of the crow? Can anyone tell me? Then I can understand you really know about the crow. How to say? Ka, right? Yeah, I'm from Sri Lanka, so I know, but I'm not sure you were born in Sri Lanka. I don't know you have been to Sri Lanka. But when a crow finds some food, he definitely calls the other crows to come and share the food. So that is one of the good qualities of a crow. So do you share your food with your friends, or do you eat alone? Do you share? Right? You have to share your food with your friends. That is a good quality of human being. If you do not share, then you are like a living crow. Right? So next time, if you got some nice food from Sri Lanka or from other parts of the world, so you should share with your parents, your friends, your classmates, right? So that is one good quality of a crow. The crow doesn't eat the food alone, always share, okay? If you do not trust me, if you do not believe me, please go to Sri Lanka and you will experience it, all right? That is one good quality of a crow. What is the second quality? If any one of the crows, let's say that one crow is in trouble, get some problems. So what does other crows do? They all call the other crows to come and help, right? Let's say this crow is in trouble. So if any of the other crows see this, always make some sounds like caw, and come and help each other, right? That is also another good quality of a crow. If anyone is in trouble, the crows may not abandon the person who is in trouble, the crow who is in trouble. Always ask other crows to come and help the crow who has in trouble, right? Who is in trouble. So that is a good quality of the crow. So these are the two qualities of the crow. So out of these two qualities, but the crow has 10 bad qualities. 10 bad qualities, okay? First one, Dansija. It's a party term. Dansija. Crow is mischievous animal. Crow is a mischievous animal. Okay? Are you mischievous? No, right? If you are mischievous, then maybe you can be considered as a living crow. The crow is always mischievous animal, right? How can crow be a mischievous animal? If you're in Sri Lanka, I always take example Sri Lanka because I have seen it, I have experienced it. If you have open rubbish bin or rubbish bag outside of your home or in the garden, so if crows see this, what do you think they will come and do? They will come and take all the rubbish from these rubbish bins to the outside. They mess up all the place, right? That is how crows act. But here you can't see it because we can't find crows here, right? So, but if you're in Sri Lanka, so if you leave your garbage or rubbish unattended, or all the crows come and open the rubbish and they take everything from the rubbish bag outside from the rubbish bag and make the place untidy and mess up the place. That is why one of the bad qualities of the crow is they are mischievous, right? That is the bad quality of a crow. But are you mischievous like crows? Do you mess your things up? Normally people do that, right? You know that I had a bad habit when I was a kid. When I went with my parents to visit other people's house, I had a bad habit, to be honest with you. I always used to go to the place of the people and I used to open the fridge, the doors of the people, the windows of the people, the doors of the cupboards. So I was so curious to see what was inside. So I used to open all those places, and sometimes I do that, right? So sometimes I got scolded by my parents. That is not. It's really bad behavior of the people, of the human being, right? You shouldn't do that. If we go to some people's house, we should behave in a good manner, behave extremely good manner, right? We should not doing that. We should not be doing that. That was my bad quality, right? Messing the things up. I don't mind the people's house, but I had that kind of bad habit, right? So if you do that, if you have such kind of behavior of messing things up, so it's like behaving like a crow, right? So I want to know, in your home, how do you keep your things? Do you mess your things up? How have you put your books? How have you put your clothes? How have you put your shoes? How have you put your things in the room? Have you put things properly in order? Yes, you had to do that. You had to keep your things properly and nicely. You should not have put all your belongings everywhere in the house. Sometimes, soon after they come from the school, they take out all the uniforms and everything, they put on the chairs and on the bed, on the floor, and let your parents come and collect them and wash them. That is not the right way. If you do that, that is like a living crow, right? That is not exactly a good way. If you do that, then this is that is really, you are a living crow. What do you need to do? Once you come back from the school, remove all your shoes, your uniforms, and you had to put them in a proper place. If you want to wash them again, put them in the laundry room, right? Definitely you have an allocated place to place your dirty clothes. And also, once you finish your meals, where do you need to put your plates and cups? If, let's say, if you take your food inside your room, let's say you take your food in living room. So once you finish, do you supposed to put your things inside your rooms, like your plates and cups? Do you supposed to put them in the inside room? No, that is not the right way. It's like you mess the things up, messing your house. You had to bring them to the kitchen and you had to put them in the, what is that called? Dishwasher, right? In the dishwasher or in the sink. That is how you should behave, right? If you are mischievous like a crow, we can expect your things to do in that manner. But we don't expect you to do like how crow does it. Okay? Put the things in properly, in a good manner. Understand? That is how the Buddha said, if you want to be a perfect human being, you had to do your things accordingly. The things, day-to-day things in your life accordingly. Right? I will tell you a very good example. You know that I'm living in the temple, so we always experience some various types of people. Devotees come to our temple, right? So sometimes they come to our temple and they use temple things. We have the plates, we have cups, we have flower vases, we have all the other things for human beings. It is okay to use. All these things are for them to use. But you know what? Once they come into the temple, once they use the plates and cups, and once they finish eating, they just leave their plates and cups everywhere. Sometimes near the dishwasher, sometimes near the sink area, or sometimes on the table. But they never put them back in the drawer or in the place where they were kept before. I have seen this many, many times. They act like a crow, right? But once you take something from some particular place, once you done your job, you had to return them back to the previous place where they were kept, right? That is how you should behave. Not only that, in our temple, there are three types of bins are there. 3 types of bins. One for general waste, the other one for recycle waste, the other one for withered flowers, right? These three bins are there. And there are a lot of signs are there also. Big signs with big letters are there. So, even you, if you go there now, after the talk, if you go there, you can see it. Okay? So, but do really people practice as it is? No, they don't practice. So sometimes they mess the place. They put general waste into the recycle bin, and sometimes recycle things to the general waste bin, and sometimes they put all together into the flower bin, withered flower bin, right? That's how people do, how people mess the things up, right? We had to be there all the time to tell the people, this is not the way you need to do it. This is not the right way to do it. Please read it. So that's how we should learn, children. That is how you can be a perfect human being, right? That's why we have put all, if the people are always act in a proper way, we don't have to put all those signs. Why do we have to put signs? Because they don't act as a human being, right? They only do their things. They don't mind of other properties, or they don't mind of other things. Once they have done their job, their particular job, they don't mind of other things. They leave anyhow things there. That is not really good. If people do such things, they are like living crow, right? They are mischievous people, right? I don't want you to do that. You need to learn things properly. Once you take something from one place, once you are done your job, please bring them back to the previous place where they were before, and put things back to the place where they were before. Okay? So that is what I want to tell. That's how people act like living crow, right? They usually mess the things up, right? So a lot of things to say, children, but we had to think about the time also. So then you had to consider yourself, right? Whenever you go to temple, whenever you go to school, whenever you use public properties, please be considerate to use them properly. Don't damage or don't misuse of them. Okay? So you had to learn it, children, from this age. If you learn something from this age, definitely those things will be useful for you. Okay? If your friend does something wrong, please tell them and teach them. This is not the right way to do it. And also, before you do things, please think twice, right? If it is a good thing to be done or bad thing to be not to be done. So you have to think twice wisely, reflect your actions before you do. And also sometimes children like to provoke others, right? Provocative. Children are very provocative, and they like to provoke others. Sometimes when they go to school, they like to bully others. So bullying people is like living crow, right? If anyone in your class bully you, don't call them a crow, okay? You will be in trouble. So come back and tell your moms, Mom, we have a crow in our class, right? So every time, if you happen to experience this kind of situation in your life, you have to act wisely. You have to make the things calm down, and you have to make the people calm down. You have to act in that way. Okay. So don't mess things up like crows. Okay. Don't be a living crow. So you have to be very mindful of your activities when you do. Okay. So once if you do something in your day-to-day life, be considerate, okay, to be a good, perfect human being. So that's the first quality. The first quality of a crow, the mischievous. Crows are mischievous, but we are not mischievous human beings or like animal, right? So we do things properly. The second quality of the crow, Pagaboja. They are shameless animal. Crows are shameless, right? Why do I say that? So I had to take the example from Sri Lanka. Do you know how they act shamelessly? How crows act shamelessly. So if you go to Sri Lanka, if you sit or stand under the tree in Sri Lanka, the crows may poo on your head, right? Yeah, the crow dropping spores onto your head from the crow, right? That's crow's shameless action, right? That is shameless action. They do that. I'm not telling that you go and poo on human head. I'm not telling that, but I'm telling that crows act shamelessly. Okay, that's how the crows act. But Are you like that? Do you behave in that way? Sometimes um, people act verbally, mentally, physically, shamelessly, right? Your verbal actions can be shameless, and your physical actions can be shameless, and your mental thoughts can be maybe mental thoughts, not really. People act shamelessly, right? So there is a very good story I want to tell you. During the times of the Buddha, this is the danger of these shameless actions of the crow, okay? During the times of the Buddha, there were two crows, and they were living near the palace, and the two of them were sitting on the gate of the palace, and the one crow told to the other crow, I had an idea. I want to falls droppings onto the head of the minister of this palace. The one crow had this idea. Okay, that's a very shameless action. So this minister was about to go to the meeting or function or event. So the crow decided to poo on his head, and this minister came outside from the palace, and without any hesitation, the crow um, poo on his head. And he was very angry with these crows, and his anger remained inside his heart. Even few months later or few weeks later, is still anger towards the crow it was inside his heart. Okay, then there was a lady who guards the rice of the palace. Rice, okay, we can say paddy. So this lady used to lay all the paddies or the rice on the ground and let this rice dry off. Okay, and they lay the things under the sun. So even in Sri Lanka, still people do. Once they get their harvest, they put all the rice beside the road where they can get a lot of sunlight in order to dry the rice up, right? So this lady's job was to look after those rice. And the first day, one goat, have you seen the animal? Goat came and started eating this rice. And the sounds of the goat consumption of the food heard by this lady. And she stood up from the seat and chased the goat away. Okay? And the second day also happened the same thing. On the third day also happened the same thing. And the fourth day, she was very angry with this goat. Right? I am losing my wealth. I am losing my property because of this goat. So I need to find some solution to kill this goat or chase away this goat, not letting him to come again. So I had some ideas. Then she took a matchstick, and set it to fire and threw it away. And accidentally, this goat got on fire. His tail got on fire. Okay? And then this goat ran everywhere, ran here and there, everywhere. Then finally, this goat reached to the particular place where there were a lot of elephants. Okay, so it's like yard, I think, animal sanctuary, elephant sanctuary, I think. The elephants got on fire and they burned their parts of the body. So then the kings of the palace came to that area and asked what happened. Then he saw all the elephants were on fire, and most of them have injured their legs and all the parts of the body. And then they start giving treatments to those injured animals. Okay, So they started giving all those medicines to those injured animal, burned animal. So within that, the minister who got poo on his head from the crow, he had anger within him, right? So he had the idea to take revenge from these crows who poo on his head, right? He had idea. Oh, he told to the king of the palace, oh, I have an idea. I know the best medicine for these crows, for these burned elephants, okay? What was the medicine? He said, okay, collect the oil from crows. Oil of the crows is the good medicine for this injured elephant, right? He just want to take revenge from these crows. So he told, please kill all the crows in the city and collect the oil. That was the commandment of the king, right? Because he was very angry with the crows, right? So he ordered to kill all the crows of the city and collect oil. These foolish people start killing crows and start getting oil. But they killed many thousands of innocent crows, but they could not get oil. Why? Because crows do not have oil. I think the crows are the only animal who do not produce or do not have oil in their body. They could not take any oil from them. But later on, a bodhisattva was born into a crow of that particular area, and he knew what was the cause. And then he went to the palace, the bodhisattva crow, and explained the situation to the king. This was the untruth, and this was not really truth. This was just taking revenge. So then they stopped killing. So what I want to tell is that if you do some shameless actions in your life, so sometimes some kind of danger or problems may come to your life, right? Invisible dangers may come to your life, right? So that's why, children, when you speak or when you do your actions, you have to think wisely and properly. If this action, if these words are going to harm me or others, if these actions going to harm me or others, if those actions going to harm me and others, you have to avoid from all those actions, right? And also there are two great qualities of the Dhamma, lajja and bhaya, moral fear and moral shame. So you should have moral fear, not to do wrong things, right? To do right things. But you should have moral shame, not to do wrong things, right? So these two qualities are called guardians of the world, guardians of the world. So if you have moral shame and moral fear, so you can lead your life in a proper way, right? Because moral shame and moral fear are very important guardians of our life. You can guard your words and physical actions and verbal actions if you have this moral fear and moral shame, hiri and ottappa, right? So the crows act like shamelessly, and they may bring harm to them. That kind of particular behavior may bring harm to them. In the same way, if you act shamelessly, fearlessly, definitely you may experience bad outcomes of the actions. Understand? So that is the second quality, bad quality of a crow. Third one, tinocha, suspicious. The crows are always suspicious. That is the third bad quality of a crow. Crows are very suspicious animal. If you just raise your hand, or if you pretend to throw a stone to the crows definitely will run away, fly away, right? Because they are very suspicious. So suspicious or suspicion is not a good quality. Do you think suspicious people can live in the society? If you suspect everything, can you survive in the society? If you suspect your parents, if you suspect your teachers or friends or your brothers and sisters or anyone, if you suspect, can you survive in the society? Can you? You can. If you suspect your food, if you suspect everything in your life, it is very hard to survive in the society. So suspicion is not a good quality, right? So sometimes, do you know, it is like unnecessarily suspicion or unnecessary suspicion is not a healthy, right? Because if you suspect all the time, you may not be a successful person because you suspect everything, right? So I want to tell you a very good story. You know that I had a brother. My brother always suspected me when I was a little boy. He suspected me I had a stolen pocket money from him. Right? That's people suspect. That's how people suspect. But I didn't have a chance to get money, or I didn't steal any money from him. But people suspect unnecessarily, right? Even within our society, people suspect unnecessarily. They decide to suspect unnecessarily and they stop communicating with us. They stop dealing with us. Why? Because they suspect. They suspect this person is like that, like this. Suspicion is not a good thing. Sometimes, do you know why parents have to ask a lot of questions from you? Because they can't trust you, right? Sometimes when our parents used to ask, oh, did you sleep well last night? Were you able to sleep well last night? Did you go to bed early? Or did you use a mobile phone or iPad before you sleep? Because sometimes our children are very smart. They turn the lights off and they pretend that they are asleep. Actually, they use all those gadgets, mobile phones, or all those iPads and everything at night. But switch are off. Then the mothers may think, oh, my children are sleeping. But they can't trust you sometimes, right? That's the danger. Sometimes students tell lies, right? So if you suspect your parents and if your parents suspect you, that is not really good. It is very difficult to survive in the society if both parties suspect, right? Suspicion is not good quality, right? So being a suspicious person is not really healthy to survive in the society. You know, some countries, the teachers, especially in Thailand, the teachers, they can't trust their students in the exam. Why? Sometimes they think that students cheat in the exam. So what they do? The students are provided a special hat to cover their head. The special hat put on the head, they can't turn to this right, they can't turn to that right. They can't see what is left, what is right. Only they can focus on the question paper. They put a special type of hat. Why? Because they can't trust students in the exam. The teachers suspect students, right? That's why if you do not have suspicion within you, so others may not suspect you, and you may not suspect others as well. So what you need to do is, you should not have suspicion in the life, right? Unnecessary suspicion. Unnecessary suspicion is really bad for our life. Understand? Yeah, that is the third bad quality of this crow. Unnecessary suspicion. You can't proceed anything if you suspect unnecessarily, right? You don't suspect anything, okay? So that is the third bad quality of a crow. And the fourth one, mahaggasocha. That is mean eating all the time. Crows has the other bad quality, like eating all the time. Children, do you eat all the time? I'm not talking about 3 minutes of the day. You are eligible to eat 3 minutes of the day. But I'm not talking that. But maybe you might not do that. You may not do that. Do you eat all the time? Soon after you woke up until you go to bed, you eat all the time? No, not that. But sometimes adults do that. The kids may not do that, but adults may do that. They are like, they go to the fridge, open the fridge at the middle of the night, take the chocolate, milk, and drink. Eat, right? All the time. Like crows, like living crows. But that is not good. What happens if you eat too much of the food? You get a lot of problems. You know that there was a very funny king during the times of the Buddha. It's called Pasenadi Kosala. This king used to eat a lot of huge meal per day. It's like if I compare it to the present time, it's like a huge rice of huge rice cooker. This king eat all the time. Okay, one day the king had a discussion. He came to the temple to have a discussions with the Buddha. And the Buddha saw his drowsiness, laziness, and his sleepiness. Buddha saw all those weaknesses in him and asked, why? What happened, king? Oh, the Buddha, I consumed a huge meal today. It's like a huge, full of huge rice of the rice cooker I ate. So that's how the king eat. Then the Buddha said, well, king, this is how you feel if you overconsume the food. If you eat too much of food, you get this feel sleepiness, you get dizziness, sleepiness, drowsiness, right? So all these bad feelings you may experience if you eat too much of food. Then he said to the king, Arogya parama labha, santuttim paramandhanam. He said, well, king, health is the greatest wealth, and health is the greatest profit one can have. So he asked this king, please moderate your eating. Be a moderate eater, right? You don't have to finish all the food. You don't have to eat all the food if you see a lot of food. You have to identify and understand the capacity of your stomach, right? So you have to eat mindfully, knowing the amount of the food. Then you can easily manage your life. Not only that, you may get a lot of other physical problems as well if you excessively eat a lot, right? You may get fat, sugar, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, all those kind of physical problems you may experience if you eat unnecessarily, if you eat too much unhealthy food like McDonald's, KFC, Hungry Jacks. So all those are junk food. They are not really good, children. If you eat that, definitely you may experience a lot of physical problems in your life. You cannot experience your profit. Profit you can't experience, right? As the Buddha said that, Arogya parama labha, you can get the greatest profit if you are healthy. If you are not sick, if you are unhealthy person, if you're sick, your profit will lose from you. You may not experience your profit. How? Sometimes some doctors and some companies, they like if there are too many patients. Why? If there are too many patients, they can earn their profit, right? Doctors can earn a lot if there are a lot of sick people. The companies can produce a lot of medicine if there are sick people, right? So why like that? It is because over control, or it is because of too much consumption of the food, right? We become unhealthy people because of our eating pattern. If you can control your eating pattern, if you can eat always good food, healthy food, so you don't have to be worried of getting sick, right? So that's why, children, you have to be a moderate eater, and you have to be very mindful of your eating. Don't always follow the taste of the food, but follow the good quality and the health of the food, or health of the consumption of your food. Okay, so sometimes healthy food may not nice as unhealthy food, but healthy food is very good to our life. So one day I watched a short video clip. One of the Indian professors, he told about these sicknesses. Okay, he said, you know that cancer, is it curable or incurable disease? Incurable disease, right? Cancer is incurable disease. We know that what cancer is, right? But cancer is incurable, but we try our best to buy all those medicine, like we do chemotherapy, chemo medicine, medication. We apply all the possible ways to overcome from this cancer, but we still know that cancer is incurable. Do you know, this professor said the reason, most of the time, the reason for cancer is because of the consumption of alcohol and tobacco. Tobacco and alcohols are the main reason for the cancer. But have you seen any government of the world, nowhere of the world, people who has passed laws to ban tobacco or alcohol? Have you seen? No one has done that. Why? Because it is selling all those medication for cancers is one of the biggest business for the world, right? People can produce numerous medicines like chemotherapy or chemo medication for the cancer people. Nobody wants to ban tobacco and alcohol. Why? Because these two are the ways that the government can earn huge tax, right? Huge tax. So the government mostly runs on this tax. They don't want to ban these two types of dangerous ways of getting cancer, tobacco and alcohol, right? Same, other illnesses also same. If you had diabetes, right? What happens if diabetes disappears and goes away? So all the companies may close. Insulin companies, the companies which produce insulin pen, insulin medicine, so they had to close all the shops, all the companies. That's why some companies, they are very happy if there are a lot of sick people in this world, if there are a lot of cancer patients in this world. Some doctors and some companies, they like if there are too many patients. Why? Because they can earn a lot of profit and their business will do much better. But we had to think ourselves. We had to ask from ourselves, do I live healthily, or do I give part to the doctors and other companies to earn their living? So you had to ask yourself. So always consider about your food. Eat healthy food. Always eat your mother's food. Always try to eat the food your mother cook. Don't always look for fast food. All those fast food and unhealthy junk food, they may cause you to get cancers and other kind of problems, sugar, obesity, diabetes, right? So children, please, you are the guardians of the future world. You are the pioneers of our future world. So we want you to be protected from the sicknesses, illnesses. So therefore, you have to consider and sensible of your food. Okay? Don't look for pleasure. Look for health food. Don't always look for taste of the food, but look for the health of the food. Okay? That's how we should act. Don't act like a crow. Crow eats all the time. Doesn't matter the times of the day. You know that sometime at night, even at our temple ground, I see at night magpie. They pick the things at night also. Never sleep. Eat all the time. But we don't want to be like this. We don't want to be like living crows. All right? We had to moderate our eating. So that is and there's a very beautiful Egyptian saying, okay? Egyptian saying, that's a very beautiful one. I quoted it from the one of the books. It says like this: suppose you take 4/4 of the food, okay? Suppose you take 4/4 of the food. It says like this: 1/4 of food you eat keeps you survive. So only 1 part of the food keeps you survive. Other 3/4 of the food keep doctors survive. Have you got the meaning? Yeah, only 1/4 of the food keeps you survive. All the other 3 parts of the food, 3/4 of the food keep doctors survive. Understand? Yeah, that is how it is, children. So therefore, please always don't be so greedy to the food. Food is only for our survival. Food is needed to maintain our body, right? So always consider your eating, okay? Eating unnecessarily, excessively, too much is not really good. They cause a lot of problems in the world today, right? That's the danger. Good. So that is the fourth one. Fifth one, I briefly explained to you. Luddocha means cruelty. Crows are very cruel animal. Very cruel animal crows are. The Buddha said it is one of the bad qualities of the crows again. They are very cruel. I have seen it because you know that crows always like to go and attack the small chicks. They go and attack the nets of all the other birds, right? One day, I tell you this story. One day I accidentally found a tiny mouse in our temple, and I catch it, and I took it to the ground, and I release it. I just let it go. And soon after I heard the like cheeping noise came from the one side. And I saw the magpie had caught that tiny little mouse. Yeah? What I want to say that sometimes the birds and some kind of animals are very cruel. So the crows are very cruel animal, right? They don't mind of other birds or other small chicks. Anyhow, they come and attack. Not only that, I read the news last time. One of the postmen in Australia was attacked by magpie or raven. Is the bird called raven? I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah, magpie. This postman, one of the postmen, was attacked by magpie, and he said, "I don't want to go and deliver letters into that particular area," because he was so much afraid of this magpie. They come and attack like this, especially during their breeding time. If you go close to their trees or somewhere, they will come and attack you. That's the cruelty of the crows and magpie. So, crows are like that. So, are we like crows? Are we cruel? Yeah, many times, many in the world, we have seen many cruel people. If you have read news, if you have read newspapers, or if you have watched TV, we can see a lot of cruel actions have been taken place every time. Many cruel actions are taken place every seconds in the world. Sometimes parents kill their own children. And yesterday I read a news, I don't want to mention the country. One girl has killed his own father. This woman was only just 31 years old, but she has murdered her own father. So this kind of cruel actions are taking place everywhere in the world, right? Yeah. If you want to be a perfect human being, you have to get rid of from this cruelty. Cruelty is not a good thing, right? It is really bad. So children, so always reflect your actions before you do, while you are doing, after you have done, reflect your actions. One day Buddha gave very good advice to Venerable Rahula. Rahula, if you want to perform some kind of particular actions, please reflect before you do, while you are doing, and after you have done. If the actions are not good for yourself and others, please avoid it. While you are doing the actions, if you know that this action is going to harm me and others, avoid it. After you have done it, please reveal it to your father or mother. Mom, I have done this. I have said this. Please forgive me. You have to confess yourself. That's how we should do. Don't be a cruel human being. Okay? So that is all about today's talk. So I had to conclude here. So I wish you all the best, and may the blessings you get by listening to this Dhamma talk be helpful for you to enhance your knowledge, enhance your understanding of Buddhism, and may you all experience all the happiness in your life. May no any harm come to you. May no any difficulties come to you. May you experience all the happiness in your life. Wish you all the best.